Good morning, everyone. Hope that you guys are having a very good start of your Monday morning. We have been looking at the screen for almost 1.5 hours now, so you might want to take a few seconds to look somewhere far so that it doesn't really strain your eyes, right? While I share my screen, give me a moment. Yeah, would it be okay that I share my screen now, Hazel?
Yes, ma'am, Alicia, go ahead.
All right. Making sure that I'm sharing my screen this time. Okay, so I am Alicia. I'm from McGraw Hill. So my topic of my presentation today is actually how to kind of like integrate the available e-textbook into your curriculum. Right? Before I actually start, let me just familiarize you guys with a little bit of this Zoom function. At the bottom of the screen, you will actually see this reaction button. If you can find it, you click on it, then you will get to pick, like, is it a applause, is it a thumbs up? So if you guys can find it right now, can you guys just kind of like click love so that I know that you guys are able to find this function and we can do some kind of like silent interaction. Are you guys able to find this? Yeah, I do see 2 love, 1 thumbs up. The rest, are you guys still okay? Right? Yes? All right. Okay, so I hope that this presentation is not so overpowering. I hope that you guys still have a little bit space for what we have to share next. Okay. So before I start, I actually want to know a little bit of how you usually incorporate your content from the textbook, from the traditional textbook into your teaching materials like your tutorial question, your lecture notes, and etc. So you can either scan this QR code or you can go to Menti and use this code 95682889. Okay, so give me a thumbs up if I can change my screen to my Menti. Right? Are you guys okay with the Menti? Are you guys able to access? Yeah, I only see 1 thumbs up. What about the rest? Are you guys all okay? If okay, just give me a thumbs up through your Zoom. Right. Let me just move this here and I click present. Okay. So I have 4 of you guys here. So we have approximately 25 of you. So I hope that I can see like most of you guys are in here to participate in this survey so that I can engage with you guys a little bit more on your pain point and etc. Right? We have 8 of us. If anyone have issue accessing, can you let us know through the chat box so that we can help you with it? There's 9 of us. Let me see. Need the code again. Okay, give me a moment.
Yeah, Alicia, the code is on the top. I think we can keep on the screen. They just
It's all right. It's all right.
Okay.
No worries. Yeah. Okay, the code is here. The QR code is here again. Okay. We have 10 of us. $11. Yeah, I'm just going to wait for another 10 seconds, then we will start the survey. Anyone else that is having issues with your Menti? Okay. I will just click start. So the question is that how do you usually incorporate your traditional textbook into your teaching material? So there's this one minute time frame for you to key in your notes. So is it that you're going to do you usually copy several important points for you to put it on your PowerPoint slide? Do you make it into a notes and then you share it to your students? Do you post it on your what you call it, the UVLE? So how do you usually use this content from all of the textbooks, your main references, your site references, and then you put it into your teaching materials to kind of share this information to your students? How do you usually do that? Do you copy part of it? Do you take most of it? Do you put in YouTube videos? How? Yeah. Right. 5 more seconds. All right. Let us take a look at what you guys have input. You put it in the learning guide. Let me just click this. So again, there is no right or wrong answer. This is just what we want to know from you. The first input is you put it on your learning guide. So this is actually a very good idea whereby you kind of like tell your students that which are the things that is important. I'm just going to click yes. You put it on your learning guide. You put it on your slides as your point form, as what is important. Just a summary of the important points. Definitely, you don't put the entire textbook into your slides. That is, wow, you know. So just a summary of what are the important points that the students have to know. You incorporate your content, those that you require reading into your slides. You use it as your base material for your lecture slides. Yes, this is what you have been doing all this time. You kind of use your textbook as the backbone of your what you call it, your lecture slides, right? Put in PowerPoint slides, specific chapters given as reading assignment. I like this very much. Summarize and present. Yes, as a reference reading for the students. Yep. Example problems in lecture notes. So at the end of each chapters, we will usually have these problems to it, where you can actually put this, or what you call it as end of chapter question, that you can actually include in your tutorial questions, your lecture notes, to kind of have a discussion or even homework for your student. Yes, example problems in lecture notes. Include them in the module or link the textbook in the syllabus or module. Yes, this is one of the points that I will share more on how you can use vital source links to actually put into your syllabus, or when you post up to your UVLE, how are you going to put in links to share with your student? Yes, copy and paste text. Copy what's important and just paste it in the PowerPoint slides to share it with your students. Yeah, so these are your answers. I will just jump back to my slides over here. If I'm too fast or I'm too slow, just let me know by the Zoom reaction, what you call it, the selection, to tell me to slow down, to repeat, or etc. Or you can, if you have any questions in between, just put it in the chat box and I'll come back to you in a while, right? So the first point is that e-textbook as teaching and learning tools, like all of you have mentioned, I put in into my slides, I put it into my module, my syllabus. So you usually you have been doing the same thing. You have been taking e-textbook, you have been taking textbooks and you curate the subject matter, like mechanics of materials and etc. And then you put all these books. It can be from McGraw, it can be from Pearson, it can be from Cengage, Wiley. You put them into a package and tell the students that, you know, this part of this chapter is actually from which book that you have to read more. As a backbone of class planning for theories and concepts. Then, like what one of you have mentioned, I include reading chapter assignments. Exercises like your end chapter questions. You can even use this as a group assignment through eTextbook as part of your curriculum. Sharing this with you, do you guys use Bloom taxonomy in your curriculum planning? If yes, can I have a thumbs up? Yep, 1. Yep. Nice. So I see that some of you have input to say that yes, we actually use this Bloom taxonomy as a guide on What are the things that we should include? How deep is the content that we should include in the curriculum? So a lot of time when we talk to lecturers, we talk to academicians, they tell us that, you know, students nowadays, you ask them definition, they can get perfect marks, 100 marks. Ask them, please define what is pressure. Please define what is tension. They are able to define, they are able to give you perfect answer. So a lot of time you realize that the students are able to do the remembering and the understanding. But if you were to give them a little bit of case study, where they have to actually apply this concept, this theory into their answers, they find it a little bit difficult. How am I supposed to use this concept to actually answer this case study? Then you will see that, yes, some of them, they are able to apply. Some of them, they actually not able to answer your question. So let's say a case study of like that worth 10 marks. They may be able to get 3 out of 10 by just answering what is the definition of tension and etc. Right? So why this happen is because a lot of time remembering and understanding are very easy. They just have to read, they just have to memorize. So when we have face-to-face time with your students, especially nowadays where we meet them only through Zoom or through Teams for 2 hours or 4 hours per week, this face-to-face meeting time is actually very precious. During your physical class, you're able to see whether your students, through their physical, the physical signals, their body language, you're able to know whether, okay, are you guys okay with this concept? You're able to see. But when you're on Zoom or online course, everyone turn their video off. That's the worst. You don't even know whether are they smiling, are they sleeping, are they like blur, or they are just missing in action. So we want to use this precious time to actually teach the student more on how are you going to apply, how are you going to analyze, how are you going to evaluate and create. Because remembering and understand are the lower Bloom's taxonomy that you can actually learn it by yourself through reading your textbook or your lecture notes and etc. Right? So by one of the points that you have gave me is assigning reading chapters is one of the most, I think, useful for the students to actually read before they come to class or read after they come to class, right? So over here is what this eTextbook can be used as your teaching and learning tools, reading assignment, open quiz, open textbook quizzes. You can put in your own notes and chapter questions and also your own questions on the concept, sharing your own experience on the concept itself. No matter how good our textbook is, it is always, let's say it is published this year. So whatever information or example that we use will be only based on this year. But you as a lecturer, you guys will know that your own experience, your own local experience, how does, you know, in Philippines, they're going to build maybe a flyover. What are the things that happen? What are the things that you can actually use that as an example to make your students much more connected to the content itself? So your own experience, your own examples are also very important for you to kind of like input into the eTextbook through the sharing and highlighting notes to be shared to your student, right? This is just an example of how some lecturers kind of encourage their students to kind of be more motivated to go online and read. Some of them will actually put in an online participation of like 5% marks. So this is something that you might want to consider in future if you were to want to really incorporate like part of your curriculum, part like online. Incorporate online teaching or online participant into your curriculum, right? But this is just an example. So with all these kind of things, you have already built your content, you have already saying that, okay, I'm going to use this part of eTextbook in my curriculum, I'm going to use it as a reading chapter. But then students will kind of like, they don't know what to do. Sometimes you just tell them that you go to a library, you search for this book. They kind of like, they need a little bit much more of hand-holding sometimes, especially new students. So the second point that I want to share with you is actually to familiarize your students with the ebook. So Peter has shared the 4 roles of instructor during his presentation, which I really think that it's very good. So the first one is that you want to tell the students that, you know, I am really serious about making use this e-textbooks on your library as part of your course. How? By posting more information, image of the book in your UBLE. Then you discuss how the students can actually access it through the library, sharing screen using the ebook, and also including the page on the lecture notes. This page should be very familiar to all of you. This is your main page of your UBLE. Over here, I see that this instructor has actually input a very good course description that is also available on your syllabus. You have your course learning outcome, your course guide, and your main reference. So one of the example where you can input the links that Peter has shared earlier, where you can copy the link of the page of the book, is that on your main reference, for example, over here, your main textbook for number 8 is by Beer, Vector Mechanics for Engineers Statics, right? Instead of just stopping at A, at the bottom, you might want to say that this book is available at your library, which can be accessed through this link. And then the particular book link is over here. So your students kind of like do not need to go in and search for vectors of mechanics statics anymore. They just have to click into the link and it will be directed to that specific book itself. All right. Remember that Peter also shared how your students can follow your notes, or you can follow your student notes is by your share link. You can also put in another note, and please follow my notes at this link. You can see that it's my email and it's my it's my notes. How are you going to follow my notes? All right. So this is one of the example. Then you can also at the top part, you can actually post the guide. This is actually prepared by your librarian, which we will share with you through email later on. You can share this with your students, how to access to your remote access, how you're going to access to this link, what are the things that you should find, right? If what do you call that? If they are stuck at any part of that process, they can always go back to your library. Okay, so this is the one that I think Daphne and Peter have also showed you, where you just have to key in the book and then you just have to search for the content. I'm just going to skip this. I have limited time, but let me just do this very quickly. Okay. This is the screenshot of this is a syllabus that has been actually shared with me for me to kind of like share more with you. So over here, it is the exact same thing that you have posted in your UBLE, your references, which are the main references. You have the Beer, you have the Hitler, or your supplement references. So over here, what you can do is that instead of like what I've mentioned, you stop here, you can actually get this book, right? Vectors of Mechanics, Engineer Statics. I am just going to go to my bookshelf, which you guys have been quite familiar. I will just put in the name of the book, Vector Mechanics, Statics, Vector Mechanics. So the good thing about this search function is that if I were to have a wrong spelling, all right, I am still able to do the search. If you realize wrong spelling, I am still able to do the search. So this improved function of VitalSource actually allows you to have a better, wider search, even though you have a wrong spelling. Instead of telling you that there's no result found, they kind of tell you that these are the few books that matches what you have key in, right? So this one over here is Vector of Mechanics for Engineering Static. I just have to click on Borrow. Okay. Over here, immediately I will be able to have the link. How you know that it is specifically to this book is the ISBN will be displayed here. I'll just have to copy in this, and then I will put in over here to say that this book is available at this web. Right? Is it so far so good? Okay. So over here, like when I have my notes, you can just have to copy like what Peter has shared. If you need me to repeat in some other way, in another time, please feel free to contact us. Then I can actually do this together with you. All right. Yeah, so I have to wrap my presentation up already. Let me just go back to this. Okay. The last point is actually to encourage your students, saying that, you know, it is okay to go back to your textbook. Although it is very thick, there are a lot of information in the textbook. But when the instructor were to already highlight what is important for them to read, if you don't highlight, students tend to kind of think that every single line in that page is important. Then they will see a full page of highlight. But it's just that sometimes maybe 4 or 5 lines that are important. So as a lecturer, you guys are the subject expertise. You know what is important for the students. So by helping them to say that, you know, it's okay, don't get worried, don't get nervous. You open the book, I have already highlighted what is important for you to read. So a lot of time when you were doing you put in your content into your presentation slides, you are always putting in the main points. Presentation slides are your tool to help you to present. Right? So a lot of information are summarized. If the students were to only read what is in your lecture notes, the summarized version of the important points, a lot of time they are not able to fully grasp the concept. They are not able to fully understand the concept, and that is why they tend to not able to answer questions that is higher level of Bloom's, like analyzing, creating, evaluating. Okay. Yeah, so that's all from me. Again, if you need my help in any way that when you want to put into your UVLE, what are the links that you should do and things like that, please feel free to let me know. And yeah, thank you so much.